All right, welcome Lifestyle Warriors to our team call tonight. So excited to be on live with those of you that are on live, and then of course for those of you watching the replay. It's just as important to take time out of your day, if you can't be on live, to watch the replay so you stay up to date with everything. But as we've recently starting our calls with recognition, so now is the time that we open the floor up. If any of you have anyone that you would like to shout out, recognise, acknowledge, now is the time to do that. So opening up the floor to you guys.
All right, I'll go first.
Surprise, surprise.
I'd just like a big thank you actually to Pen and Jude, who's not on there at the moment. We've had some discussions this week, and when you sit and talk to the girls that you love, you know, you do work through some stuff, and even with the personal development that we do. And I'd just like to thank the two of them for being there for me this week and allow me to put it all out there and for them to give me their feedback. And they know what they're talking about, those two ladies. They just certainly do. They do. They get me back on the straight and narrow, and you know, it's just comfort. It's really, really is good. And also to Bronwyn. Bronwyn's stories are, I love Bronwyn's stories. Whatever she posts has always got something really good at the end of it, and it makes you think and it makes you answer her posts. So that's me done this week. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that, Sharon. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, having accountability and that support is really, really important. So that is fantastic. Right, anyone else want to give a shout out, recognition, or just share something?
Yeah, I might say again to Colin. So after I heard about Colin's fantastic quotes, he and I are now Facebook friends. And the most amazing quotes, which has had me looking furiously all week to find good quotes to put on Facebook. I can't find anything like nearly as good as what Colin puts up. I have no idea where he finds all that stuff. It's amazing.
That's because I've got them all.
That's right. You should keep it a closely guarded secret.
Yes. I'm glad you like them.
It has actually motivated me, I guess, to put a bit more effort into trying to find quotes for Facebook, because sometimes people put on really lame ones and I just skim over them and think, oh dear. But Colin's ones are always great, so thanks, Colin. And I've put on a couple which have got a little bit of interest in them, so I've got to thank you for that, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have pushed myself to try and get out there and find better quotes. So, yeah, thank you to Colin.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That's awesome. You're inspiring lots of people there, Colin.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realise. As I said last week, it's very willy-nilly.
You're doing something right.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
It's the quiet ones you got to watch.
Anyone else before we get started? Pen, I see your hand up there, lovely.
And me.
I wanted to second what Sharon said. I think I want to thank Jude and Sharon for leaning into hard conversations, and then from that brainstorming some pretty amazing stuff. So it's just that authenticity and just working together, I think, to find solutions. So thank you, Sharon and Jude.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks, Pen. Bronwyn?
I've sort of listened to you talking about how you're always listening to podcasts and that's what I've been listening to when I go for my walks. But then I sort of curse myself sometimes because I hear something and think, oh, now I'll never remember it.
Right.
But I've learned how to use notes, and sometimes I'll stop and I'll just write it in. So my technology challenge is still happening, but yeah. But I listened to one during the week, and I can't think who it was, but it was was interviewing Ed Milet. He was interviewing the guy that actually shot that horrible Obama. Is it Obama or that man that was causing lots of problems overseas? Anyway, he was with the Navy, with the SEALs, but after going through that, they sort of ran through like the training, like have your plan, be consistent, and just all the things that, you know, you and all the other leaders are teaching us. And just to sort of hear it from a totally different like perspective, and you think, well, we're all got to do the same thing. It doesn't matter what you're involved in, what your job is, but consistency, where I still let myself down, and the training and the planning and all that. And I thought, wow, you know, so you're hearing this awful story, but the principles, the teaching is all still the same. And I thought that was wonderful. Yeah, and that's my bit.
Yeah, I love podcasts, and Ed Milet is awesome. A great tip with podcasts, if you hear something that you love and you're like, I need to write that down, you can just rewind like 15 or 30 seconds to just repeat that last little bit, because I've done that lots of times as well. That's why I like the hard copy books, because I can get my highlighter and highlight the things that I love, where it's harder on a podcast. So definitely. I love that. Thank you so much, Bronwyn. I see someone's written in the comments here, thanks to Belinda for she does training like this. You're welcome, Pen. My absolute pleasure. That is what I'm here for. All right, I am going to two shout outs. One to Carolyn. Carolyn has been really amping up her posts, and she did one the other day all about how, just talking about Supermix, but in a really awesome branding way that branded Carolyn and not Zija. And she got some inquiries on that as well, and I've seen her add some people to the Healthy Lifestyle Focus Group to share the message of the Natural Health Revolution with them. So that's awesome, Carolyn. Well done to you. And just a personal one to my dad, because he's a superstar ballroom dancer, and he inspired my daughter Summer to start dancing. And if you guys saw my Facebook Live with her this morning, she's learnt so many lessons from it that can be put into not just dancing, but everyday life in whatever you're doing, just like Bronwyn was saying. And so thanks for inspiring your granddaughter, Dad, and for dancing with her till nearly midnight last night, winning 3rd place in the parent-child dance.
Yay.
that was awesome. And you got, so when you go for a medal in ballroom dancing, this is totally off topic, but we're family, right? All of us. I know I'm blood-related family to Dad, but all of us, our team is family. When you go for a ballroom dancing medal, the judges score you out of 100, so they give you a percentage. Summer got 96%, which for her first medal was freaking amazeballs. My dad got 100% yesterday, so well done.
Yay.
He was perfect. The judges like hunted down his teacher to tell her how amazing they thought he was. So well done, Dad. Consistency and
legend, Dennis.
All areas pays off. So just like someone was saying on the Facebook Live this morning. So off topic, but still a massive win, and I wanted to shout you out. Alrighty. Is anyone else wanting to share anything before we jump into tonight's training? We're
yes.
all good.
Yes.
Colin,
Yes.
go for it.
Happy birthday, George.
Oh,
Yay.
happy birthday. Happy birthday, George.
Yep.
Are we going to sing?
Happy birthday.
Are we all going to sing or what?
You don't want to hear me sing. That would not be a gift.
But I hear Carolyn's got a gorgeous angelic voice.
Bronwyn, I hope you spoiled it today.
I tried. Okay. Back and out.
All right, I'm going to get into this training. So Instagram stories, as I said at the top of the call, if you have any questions, jot them down. We'll get into them at the end. I'm going to share my screen. hopefully this is working, and then I need to start the slideshow. I've got too many things I have to do on this computer. Slideshow, play from start. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect, awesome. So Instagram stories, it's literally like having your own TV show. So if you're not doing stories, you're going to learn why you should do them, where to find them, and what you can do on them to build your business. And if you're already using them, hopefully you might learn a couple of tips to enhance what you're already doing. Again, this can be done on Facebook as well as Instagram, but stories originated first, well, on Snapchat, but then Instagram launched them and then Facebook launched them. So I started them on Instagram stories, but I do transfer everything over as well. So where are Instagram stories, right? So if you've ever been on Instagram or now even Facebook, on Instagram, if someone has like a purpley pink circle around their profile picture, that means they have a story for you to watch. On Facebook, if someone has a blue circle around their profile picture, that means they have a story for you to watch. So it's different from the feed. The stories are very different. I'm going to show you exactly what they are. But you can also save your favorites as highlights. So you can see my Instagram profile here. This is where you could watch my stories. I've got the purple circle around there. But then here I've got Q&A, my drink, biz tips, etc. These are stories that I've posted, but with stories, they only last for 24 hours. So once the 24 hours is gone, the story sort of falls off, and anything you've put on stories within the previous 24 hours is going to still be there. But you might have done one that was awesome, or you might have done a story about something that you get asked about often. So instead of having to keep redoing it or answering the same question over and over and over again, you can create highlights so that when people visit your profile, they can stalk you. Like the first thing I do when I go onto someone's profile that I want to connect with is I watch their stories and I watch their highlights. So you can be really strategic in what you pop on there as well. So what are Instagram stories? If you go onto your Instagram profile as well as your Facebook profile, they are the little circles that are up the top of your feed. Now these are screenshots from my phone. It will look different on a computer. I believe on the Facebook page on the computer, they're on the right-hand side. On Instagram, it will still look exactly the same where the stories are across the top on a computer. They're at the top of your feed, as I said. They are 15-second videos or pictures. They're actually 20 seconds on Facebook. And the people that watch them are your hot prospects. Why are they your hot prospects? Because they haven't just accidentally seen your story from scrolling the news feed. They've actually physically gone and clicked on that little circle up the top because they want to watch stories. The cool thing is, which I'm going to show you when I share my screen from my phone, is you can see who is watching your stories. Have you ever done a Facebook Live or posted a video onto Facebook and wish you could know who the people were that watched your video, right? It might say 50 views. You're like, oh, 50 views, who watched it? Like, I want to know who watched it. You can't know. With stories, you can, which is awesome. Again, it's only viewable for 24 hours, which is really good for us marketers because people know that there's that sense of urgency. So if they really want to know what's going on in our life, they're going to make the effort and time to go watch our stories before they expire. All right, so how do you use them? I am going to bring up my phone in a minute and actually show you how the stories work, but a brief overview is you access them from your feed. So this is just a screenshot of my news feed. You can see this little camera here. You click on that, and that is the Instagram camera. You can take a photo directly from there or a film a video directly from there, or you can also upload one from your camera roll that you've already got on your phone as well. But what I'll do now is I'll stop that share and start sharing my phone and actually go in and show you how to do it. So give me a second. Share, and I want to share this one. Share. All right, can you guys see my phone screen? Yeah, okay, awesome. Let me just unlock it. Okay, going to Instagram. Oh, there's Carolyn's post. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so as I said, here is your camera roll. So we're going to open that. That's going to show, oh no, my camera's reversed. So if I got my phone, what can you guys? Right, there's you guys. Say hi to yourself, guys. All right, is that my phone making all that noise? Or I'm not sure. Okay, I think it was Carol. I muted her. Okay, awesome. So you can take a photo like that. You can reverse it. So down the bottom where it's got like the two circles down here, you can actually reverse the camera. So if I reverse it, it's going to be me. Hi. And the cool thing is as well, is there is a menu bar across the bottom that you can slide across. So at the moment down the bottom it says normal, and then we've got boomerang, which is really, really fun to do. There's super zoom. There's focus, which is what I really like, because see, it blurs the background, which I think is really cool. That's what the one I use a lot. There's also hands-free. So if you've ever seen me making up my super mix in the morning and you wonder how on earth are you filming that and not holding the camera as well, if I hold down on hands-free, I'll show you, I'll keep my finger on it for a few seconds and it'll come up with a countdown. 3, 2, 1, then I can start talking. I don't have to be holding my phone, don't have to be doing anything. I can be walking around or having it like on a stand, sitting still, whatever. When I'm done, I just click on stop and it's going to start playing back that video. Now, if you don't want to post that video straight away and you want to keep it, up the top right, you can see a cross that will close it down. If you're like, no, that was rubbish, I don't want to use that. Next to that is an arrow that points down. If I click on that, that saves it to my camera roll. So I can have that then saved for later. Okay? You can also chuck a filter on it. So if you're like, oh, I like the video, but I want to maybe pop a filter on it and brighten myself up a bit. There we go. See how it brightens it up? I'll show you again. That's without a filter. And this is with a filter. Makes it brighter. Can make yourself sparkly. There we go. I've got some gold glitter on my eyes. Boys, all the boys watching, I know you'd like that one. Put kisses on my face. You know, you can just have a lot of fun with it and, you know, just muck around with it. It's lots and lots. It's so fun. Then what you can also do, I'll just remove all of that, is the next one over from that is actually like a keychain. That allows you to do the swipe up. So when you've got 10,000 followers, you can swipe up. I'm going to cross that now so you guys can actually see me. So when you click on that, oh, now I can't do it. Okay, let me just hold on. Let me just upload something maybe. I'll pop a picture there. Then you're not just watching me say the whole same thing over and over and over again. So the link chain one, that's for swipe up options. You can only use that when you have 10,000 Instagram followers or more. But if you link it to an IGTV episode, you can use the swipe up button with less than 10,000 videos. So I'm going to do another training on IGTV, what that means, how to use it, and we'll go into detail on that then. The next one over is one of my favorites, and it really makes your Instagram stories fun. It's the little sticker icon. It's like the square smiley face. So click on that, and you can add all these types of things to your post, you can add a location. So if I click on that, it's going to come up with places nearby, right? I might be going out for dinner at Catalano and Con. I want to tag them. So I can put that there. If I tap it, it makes it go clear. It adds a bit of color to it. Like I can play around with it like that. Click on it again. I might want to add the time. I have no idea why it thinks it's 3:42 in the afternoon, because it is not. It's 6:25. I think because I have my phone attached to my computer, so I can do this screen share. It's mucked up the timing, and then it says my phone on my phone. It's 9:41, which is also not the correct time. So I don't know what's going on there. Click on it again. You can add things like the weather. You can add, you know, how hot it is, how cold it is, or whatever. And then GIFs. They're really fun as well. So just say you wanted to do a post on the fact that it's Friday. So you type in Friday and all of the different GIFs about Friday, or finally, right? It's finally Friday. So you just have a play around, look at all the different things that you can do. Another cool thing is to do polls, which I'm going to show you as well, asking a question. People can vote. To change what it says, you can just tap on it and remove it and just say, you know, sounds like me, or more info, please. You might have seen me do polls if you watch my stories, and then people can vote on it. A really good tip is to actually put a poll like about here, where people actually are tapping across your stories, because then they accidentally tap it. And even if they weren't meant to hit it, it allows you to then open up a conversation with people saying, hey, thanks for watching my stories. I saw you clicked more info, please. Share with me your health goals so I can, you know, point you in the right direction, or whatever your story was related to. They'll come back and say, oh, I accidentally pressed it. I'm like, oh, that's totally fine. I do that all the time. I'd love to know what your goals are regardless, like anyway, if you're wanting to share them with me. So it starts that conversation, opens it up. You can also type. So you can bring up typing, and then strong, where it says strong up the top, that's the font that it's using right now. You just tap on that, changes it to classic. On classic, you can press that A that's to the left of it, and it'll put a border behind it. You can then like choose a color. If you press the A again, it makes the border more see-through and opaque, and you can just keep changing the colors till you find one that you like, or just keep changing the font, and then you can make it bigger or make it smaller, move it around, whatever you want to do. And then again, if you want to save that, you can save it, or you can directly post it by clicking that Your Stories one down the bottom. I'm just going to close that one down, discard, because that's not really the type of video that I want to be posting. That was just a demo one. So you can see they're all up here, all of the stories, you access them there. And yeah, lots and lots of fun to be able to do with stories. So I'm going to stop sharing that now. Remember, if you have any questions, just jot them down. I need to bring up my PowerPoint back. And I'm going super fast, but I want to get through all this info so that I can then have as much time for questions as possible. You can also jot your question in the chat bar if you want to, so that you don't forget it. All right, let's start the slideshow again. Okay, so now that you know where to find stories, and it's the same on Facebook. Sorry, I was meant to show you that on my camera as well. I'm all over the place tonight, guys. Sorry. Share. I'm sharing again. Okay. I wanted to show you how you see who's watched your story. So you can see up the top here where it's got your story. That's all the things that I've posted. If I click on that, it's going to show me my story, right? So this is one I posted 2 hours ago. So I'll just go to the first one. All right, so this was one from last night. I mean, first of all, if you haven't watched my stories yet, go watch them, because this man is incredible. He's 96 years old and was dancing around that dance floor like a spring chicken. He was amazing. But if I take my finger off, I'm holding down on my screen right now so it doesn't jump to the next slide. But can you see how it says 122 down the bottom? That's how many people have watched that story. If I tap on it, I now have a list of all of the people that have watched that story, and I can scroll through it and I can start a conversation or message each person or thank them for watching my story, or just see which of my prospects are watching my story that maybe I haven't spoken to in a while. Who's watching my story that also has stories. You can see some of those people have pink circles around their profiles and some don't. So I'll always go and watch some people's stories that have been watching mine that maybe I haven't watched their stories before. And you can scroll through and just see on every single story who has watched, how many people have watched, and you can just go through and look at everything. It is so, 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 so cool. All right, so that's how you check. Now on Facebook, it is the same. You'll see on Facebook that my viewers are a lot less. So even though on Facebook I was maxed out at 5,000, I'm starting to go through my whole list at the moment as of last Wednesday and remove a whole bunch of people. I'm only down to about 4.5 at the moment. But even though I'm sort of maxed out on Facebook and I have, I think, 2,600 followers on Facebook on top of my Facebook friends, look at the amount of views I'm about to show you on my Facebook stories compared to only just over 2,000 followers on Instagram and nearly 100 people plus, sometimes give or take a little bit, watching my stories there. So on this same story, it has 73 views, even though I have way more people following me on Facebook. That's why I post on both, because it's such a different audience. And again, you click on that number and I see a lot of you guys on here, which is awesome. Yay! And you can scroll through and you can directly message people from here. So as an example, just say Sharon wasn't already one of our Kick-Ass Lifestyle Warriors and she was a friend of mine on Facebook and she's watched my story and she's given it a love heart, okay? I could message Sharon by clicking that arrow and see it brings me into her inbox. It shows Sharon that I'm messaging her because she watched my story, so she's not going to think, who is this random person? Why is she messaging me? And I can just write something like, hey Sharon, thanks for loving on my story. How incredible is that guy? With a love heart, because I always like adding in emojis, right? And that could start a conversation with Sharon. Maybe I've never spoken to her before. So you can just do all that sort of stuff. So really, really cool. So go through and have a look. If you're not already doing it, that's how you do it. All right, that's what I wanted to show you. Let me stop sharing that one. And now I can go back to my PowerPoint. Share PowerPoint. Alrighty. So now that you know what stories are, where to find them, how to use them, etc., now it's time to make an Insta story plan. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do Instagram stories or Facebook stories, but if you are wanting to use social media to reach more people and have more people know, like, and trust you so that more people join you and buy from you, then using stories gives people an inside look into your life as if you have your own reality TV show. Now, I used to be completely obsessed with the Kardashians. It's embarrassing to say, but I used to be completely obsessed with the Kardashians because I was not living my own life. I loved reality TV because I could watch other people's lives, right? I lived through them. And so even though Kim Kardashian had no idea who I was, that I even existed, if I saw her walking down the street, I would feel like I actually knew her because I had watched her life. I was like a fly on the wall behind the scenes. And that's what stories allows us to do. Gone are the days of Facebook where we can post multiple times a day and still get good engagement. When I first started using Facebook to build my business, it was a personal development business that I was in before I joined network marketing. We trained people to post every hour for 12 hours. So 12 times a day you would post every single hour. And that's what worked. That's what built engagement. That's what worked. If you did that now, you would be getting blocked, unfriended, and probably blocked by Facebook quicker than you could even figure out what was going on. So now, if you look at what I do on social media, I post once a day, sometimes two. Like yesterday, I posted twice. I posted once in the morning and once at night because it was a big day personally for us with Summer's ballroom dancing stuff. But typically I'll post once a day and everything else is in my stories. But every now and then I'll share that on my main post that I do, that, you know, if you want to follow along with this crazy, you know, Byfield life, or if you want to see the behind the scenes of, you know, our trip to the zoo or whatever, go check out my stories. Because that you can put 100 stories up a day and it's not going to change your algorithm in a negative way at all. If you posted 100 times on Facebook in a day, you would not have any friends left on Facebook at all. All right, so now that you know all of that, it's time to make an Insta story plan if you choose to. So first of all, consistency is key. Do at least 5 stories a day, because once someone watches your story, just say I posted a story at 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, and Colin watched my story at 8:05. If I didn't post anything else for the next 24 hours, Colin won't see any more of my stuff because he's already watched it. Remember, they only last 24 hours, and once you've watched it, they don't disappear, but that little circle gets removed and sort of goes to the back of the line. So you want to make sure that you're in there throughout the day, so you're always popping up for people. So have some that are the same. So have a game plan of what you want to share on your stories every day, but also have some that are spontaneous. Like sometimes we'll go to the park with the kids and James is being an idiot going down the slide backwards and doing roly-polies out at the bottom of the slide or whatever. And I'll story it because that's just, you know, a fun part of our life. I didn't plan that. It was a spontaneous one. So here's what I recommend. Choose 5 parts of you that you want to share in your stories. And this comes down to your brand. So for me, as an example, it's, and I think I have it in the next couple of things. An example of mine are my morning walk, Holly, which is our boxer, my super mix, personal development, gratitude. You'll find me like 9.9999 times out of 10, I have those 5 things in my story every day. Okay, so here's a recent day on my IG stories. So the first one that I popped up, I pop up one every morning when I get up. I timestamp it, which keeps me accountable to everybody. They know that I'm a 5 a.m. girl. I like putting the temperature. I don't know why. I'm just fascinated with different temperatures depending on where you are in the world. People know that I have my vision and planning. I do my personal development and my gratitude journal. And this is a video because the GIF makes it a video. Just pop Thursday there. If something sticks out to me in my personal development reading, I'll highlight it, post a picture of that. I'll also post a picture of me writing in my gratitude journal. I'll then go on my walk, and I've got an Apple Watch, so I film the 3, 2, 1 countdown. It's just something fun and silly that I do in the mornings. People can see I'm going for my walk. If James says something funny on our walk, I'll share it, or a thought that I'm having while I'm on my walk, I'll share it. I usually share a picture of the sunrise. So can you see, this is all probably by 6:30 a.m., all of these. It's 6. Can you imagine if I'd posted on Facebook 6 times by 6:30 a.m.? I would have no likes and no comments because Facebook would not be showing my stuff to anybody because they think I would be spamming. Whereas stories, it's completely different, which is why I love them. Then I try and get a selfie with Holly after our walk. She's usually not that interested, as you can see in that picture. And then always share when people tag you in something. So the gorgeous Pen tagged me in this quote that she popped up saying how thankful she was for our relationship that we have. And I shared that. When someone tags you in something, it gives you the opportunity to share it to your story. So when you can, tag people in things so they can share it, and then, you know, vice versa. I'll always share my super mix in the morning. Sometimes I'll actually talk into the camera as I'm making it about what I'm doing that day, what we did the night before. I would say probably 1 out of 20 times I'll actually talk about Supermix and what it is and why I drink it. But most of the time I'm just making it up as an activity while talking about something completely different. This one actually was just a fun boomerang that I did of me just drinking it. And I don't always call it Supermix. I usually call it my superfood or my mama juice or whatever, because I want people to ask me what it is. If I'm saying I buy this from Zija, it's called Supermix, people can just go on to Google and they can buy it directly from the company, or they can go buy it from someone on Amazon that's, you know, trying to sell it off cheaper because they're not using it anymore or whatever. You want to know who's interested. So try and keep it in those generic terms. People ask you what it is. So that's 9 so far. So you guys thinking, okay, well, I can't come up with 5. I've done 9 just from my morning routine so far. And to me, those 9 probably took less than 2 minutes to do because I'm in the habit of doing it. It's just so simple for me to just quickly turn on my phone and record it. Then I always make sure at least every couple of days I'm talking about my business, because if I'm not talking about it, people don't know that I have a business. If I'm not talking about our health and wellness products and how they've made an impact on my life, people don't know that I have something that can help them. So unless you're talking about it, people don't know that you can help them. So this one here, I was just trialing something the night before. I said, I've got a big announcement coming tomorrow. James was like, oh my God, what's the big announcement? I was like, oh no, I'm just, you know, giving it that sense of urgency of I'm only, you know, bringing on 2 new people next month, and, you know, who wants to get mentored one-on-one by me? So that's what I did. Just see, I'm drinking my Supermix, but I'm not talking about it. And stories that are important that I really want people to pay attention to, I'll put more wording. So if someone's watching my story without the volume on, they can read what I'm talking about. So then I did, you know, and they're just 15-second clips. So that's 45 seconds that it took to do that. And then at the end of that, I did a poll. So that sounds like me or still unsure. And then so everyone that clicked on that sounds like me or still unsure, I messaged them, just like I showed you when I was sharing my screen directly from the poll, just saying, hey, you know, I see that you wanted to learn more because you're still unsure, or totally love that sounds like you. That means that you're my people. Like, what are your goals? You know, what inspired you to click on the poll? How can I help you? What do you want to achieve? And just start a conversation from there. So I try and do a poll every second day, even if it's nothing to do with the business. It could be, you know, you might be going out and you want people to help you choose what outfit. I do a lot of nail posts. So I put different nail designs up and have people vote which nail design I should get. Just fun types of things like that. But then remember, it's not all about the business. So Bella, my eldest daughter, does modeling, and she's having her showcase next month, and tickets went on sale the other day for it. So I just posted about booking our tickets and how, you know, that we were excited about it. I tagged the modeling agency, which they then shared onto their Instagram, And that got me new followers because people are watching their Instagram, saw that I posted, and then they came and followed me. I believe I'm well known for going to bed early and getting up early. So I always love talking about, you know, I'm typically in my pajamas by 4:30. So I took a photo in my pajamas and I was cooking dinner, just saying how I've been out and about all week, and Thursday was the first day that I actually got to stay at home apart from grocery shopping, and I was really, really happy about that because I'm an introvert. So just sharing who you are and being as authentic as you can, you know, makes a huge difference. And then if I feel like it's been quite a few hours since I've posted and I want my little circle to be back like at the front again, I'll just go find some quotes and just post them on my story. Just really simple, inspiring ones that could add value to people. And that's it. That was my day in the life of. That's probably about, I would say, under 20 stories that was all together. So how long does it take to get results? Well, first of all, until, right? You've all heard that before. I know you're like, that's not the answer I wanted to hear, Belinda. But it really starts with a decision. It was back in January of 2018, so Jan 1st last year, that I made the decision that I wanted to start using Instagram and using stories to really help build my business. And James had been telling me for several years, this is how long I ignored him for, he told me for several years, Belinda, you need to look at what's going on Instagram. There's a lot of growth happening there. A lot of people are just sharing their day-to-day lives, which is, you know, how you build your business anyway on Facebook. You need to get over there. And I'm like, no, I love Facebook. Like, why would I want to do something different? But as you can see, when I showed you the viewing of my stories on Instagram versus Facebook, even though I have a much higher following on Facebook, my Instagram stories get viewed a lot more on Instagram than my Facebook stories do on Facebook, and they're exactly the same videos. I just upload them from one to the other. So I made that decision 1st of Jan 2018, and here's what happened. Because I was consistent, if I don't go on a walk in the morning, people ask me if I'm okay. I always get asked for book recommendations because people see me post about a personal development book every day. I always get asked what gratitude journal I'm using, and I'm loving it right now because when everyone asks me, I get to say, well, my gorgeous, gorgeous friends bought that sparkly pink gratitude journal for me for my birthday, and they came over from different countries and different states to surprise me, so that always starts a good conversation. I get sent pics of nail art that people think I would like, which is awesome. I get asked all the time what I'm drinking because I'm talking about my superfoods and I'm making it up every day. People are asking me what that is all of the time. And because you'll be adding value and being consistent, you will build the know, like, and trust factor. And that comes with consistency, as I said. So it's been about 18 months for me, just over, with Insta stories, and just now it's just a habit. So sitting there last night watching that dancing, that 96-year-old man dancing, I'm like, I'm going to story this because that is a powerful message. Do you want to be in a nursing home at 96 or on a ballroom dancing floor at 96, with a gorgeous woman in your arms? I had so many people message me saying, oh, he's that happy because he's got a gorgeous woman in his arms. So if you're ready for a challenge and you either want to start doing Instagram or Facebook stories, or you're doing them and you want to up that challenge, I've got some tips for you. So as I said, choose 5 themes, 5 things that you would like to be known for that are just a part of who you are and what you do already, and start getting into the habit of posting them on your story, and commit to at least 90 days of consistency. It was probably between the 60 and 90 days when I first started doing stories that I started doing them without thinking. Like that first 60 days, I was like, oh my gosh, it's lunchtime, I haven't done a story yet. Like, what am I thinking? But after that 60 days of, getting into that habit, I really just started doing it without thinking. Grab an accountability partner. You heard when we were doing our recognition earlier that Pen, Jude, and Sharon were all saying the best thing for them that happened this week was having that accountability. And so grab an accountability partner if you want to start doing Insta stories or Facebook stories together to keep each other on track. Also, set up your stories to save to your camera roll. So in your Instagram settings, you can choose to have your stories automatically saved to your camera roll. So once you've posted them on Instagram, they'll save to your phone's camera roll, which then you can upload them to Facebook. And really be you and do you. If you think the thought of going for a sunrise morning walk at 5 a.m. is the worst possible thing you could do, don't do it. Don't do it just because I do it or just because you see Pen do it. And I know Sharon does her gorgeous morning walk photos as well. And Colin does his morning walks too. Just because some of us love that morning time and have that time in the morning to be able to dedicate to that doesn't mean that you have to. Find your thing, what makes you you, and start sharing it. Okay, so now I have all of that out. I feel like I've just Instagram vomited on everybody. So I know that was super fast and a lot of information. So does anyone have any questions or comments they would like to make? We'll start with questions, and then once we've done some questions, I'm going to call some people out that I know love doing, are already doing stories. Dad, yes.
You spoke about the Instagram stories lasting 24 hours. Is that the same if you do the stories on Facebook as well?
Yes. So on Facebook and Instagram, they both last for 24 hours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Belle, can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
You know the hashtags on your feed, do they work in the same way as on your story? So I know you can put a little hashtag in your story. Mm-hmm. Does it work the same way as it does on your feed?
It does. So on a post on your feed, you can have up to 30 hashtags, and on a story, you can have up to 10.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So the hashtag, when you click on the sticker button and it brings up like the hashtag icon, you can only do that once. But if you click on as if you were going to type something, just type the hashtag. So put the hashtag on and then type the hashtag. And then you can actually, like with your fingers, like once you've done your typing, like go like that to like make it super, super small. So the hashtags can't even be seen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can
thank you. That's helpful.
They're searchable. People can find them. Instagram have started putting stories in the Discover page as well. And based on hashtags, then you'll be in more people's Discover feeds, but you can have up to 10 and just make them super small so that people can't see all the hashtags that you're using, because sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming on a picture having so many hashtags, but then they still work.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? No? All right. So I'm going to call a few people out that I know use stories. I'm going to start with Pen because she looks like she needs to go to bed. I know she's been studying so much. You look exhausted. So thank you so much for being on here. Can you talk or have you lost your voice from all the studying? You can talk. Awesome. Yeah. Good. If you can share, Pen, what you love about stories and your best practices for what you're doing over there.
Well, I'm a bit like you, Belle, that I'm a bit of an introvert, so I don't really like sharing my life, but there's something about stories that I actually really do enjoy. I'm similar with my morning posts, so I will always do a picture of the sky, so what the day's like, put the date, the time, and the weather. So these are my 4 things I do religiously. I take a picture of a flower or nature or something because that's a passion of mine. And then I'll take a picture of my dogs, and I've got a hashtag called Walking Crew. So, and then I come home and I have my super mix. So I will take, whether I'm talking while I'm having it, I'll take just a picture. And they're religiously what I do every day. I don't often take a lot during the rest of the day. That's probably somewhere where I could, add to my Insta stories. But I have a heap of fun putting GIFs on there and just pictures, and also the filters. I love using them as well. But a tip that I love about actually watching stories is that when people are talking, they are talking like they're talking to their best friends. So, you're having a conversation with people, even though it's not a two-way street. But I get very engaged when I'm, like, even if I'm watching yours, Belinda, I feel like we're having a conversation, and I think that's the way that you can connect with people. So, like you said, just be authentic, be yourself, and just share bits that you probably don't really want plastered all over Facebook or Instagram, but it feels kind of intimate to be watching it or doing it in a story. So that's probably my...
I was talking and I'm muted. I love your nature pictures that you put up. There's always a pretty flower, or like the sun, the raindrops on a leaf, or they're just always gorgeous. And I know I can expect that beautiful image from you every day. There was something else that you said that, being you, right? So the stories that I put up there as an example of what I did in a day, when I was doing those 4 stories of talking about taking, 2 one-on-one people on in October to mentor and having that poll, if you watched it, at the end of that, my camera fell. So my camera fell and I flicked it up and I'm like, oops. But then I typed in, if I can do this, you can too. My camera is falling off its stand, and I still posted it. I didn't then just redo it to look professional. I want people to know that I'm a normal person, that I make mistakes, that I drop my camera, and I'm still going to post it. Boomerangs are awesome. I know that Sharon, you love boomerangs as well. And just having fun with it and being yourself. I love that, Pen. Yes.
I just want to say one more thing. I have a lot of audiences, the same audience on Instagram and Facebook. So I actually try to mix it up a little bit. So Facebook, I've got access to music. So sometimes I'll put a music to a story, which I don't have on Instagram, or I will put different pictures. So even though they're watching the same story, it might look a little bit different, maybe a bit more entertaining. So.
Yeah, I didn't realise I was not the only person in the entire world that didn't have music on Instagram. Everyone seems to put music to their posts on Instagram, and I still don't have the music button. The amount of times I've uninstalled Instagram and reinstalled it trying to fix it, but no. It's like, okay, you've got a soul sister here with no music then, Pen. Awesome. All right, Carolyn, I know you are new to the story game, but what I love about your stories is as soon as you joined the Zija family and the Lifestyle Warriors family, that's where you started. I mean, that's where you saw my videos of me having my super mix every morning, and you messaged me asking what it was. So I love that you jumped in straight away. Can you share with us what you love about stories and your best practices?
Sure. I think for me, Instagram was really new when I first started. I had, 3 followers or something, and I didn't actually really ever use it. So it was just set up as a challenge by you, Belinda, and I jumped in and did it. But what I initially did with Instagram stories was that I found them less scary than Facebook. Yeah. So because my friends were on Facebook, I didn't want them to see what I was doing until I got a bit more confidence. So Instagram was like my little testing ground, and I just felt more comfortable putting things on Instagram than I did directly onto Facebook. So it was like, I'll just test this on Instagram and I'll just see how it goes. Yeah. And so that's how it started. And then once I kind of got the swing of it and felt less scared and did more of it and all of that, and it was kind of a bit more comfortable and easy, then I started just sharing it onto my Facebook stories just in the way that you described, by saving it onto my camera roll and then putting it onto Facebook. So, but the thing I love about Instagram is all the fun that you can have with it. So now I love putting those little GIFs on it, that have, you know, all those funny little happy Fridays, or, you know, whatever you're doing, little funny faces and little things jumping up and down, and it just kind of adds a bit of interest to your story. So that's kind of what I do. And I try, I guess, each day to do a Super Mix, you know, post about making it or drinking it or whatever. And then sometimes I just take photos of things that I'm doing during the day. So today we were doing a cross-country challenge, so I put a few of those photos on it, and, you know, just like little things that I'm doing during the day that I just pop on there. And as you do it, it becomes easy. You don't need to think about it so much. You don't have to stress about it too much. It's just fun. And I get so many more people watching my Instagram stories than I do from my Facebook stories, like twice as many.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think it's great. I love it.
Awesome.
I learned some more tips today from you, Belinda. So
that's
really
good. I'm glad. I remember the first story you posted, Carolyn. You messaged me and you're like, yeah, I did that wrong. It's on my feed. You actually posted it on the Instagram feed, not the story. But it was awesome, and I loved it. You still did it, and that's the point. You just jumped in.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that, Carolyn. I appreciate it. Sharon, if you could share, I know you do, you're just new to the Instagram world. I know you had a business account for your salon, so you've only recently started your personal IG account. So for stories, you really started on Facebook. So I'd love to hear from you as well, why you love stories and your best practices.
Yeah, I love stories because you could, as you said, you could put so many more things up there, and you don't have to put a quote or a message or anything. You just put some sparkly stuff on it and post. It's great. I love that. But what I have learned in the last couple of weeks, and that's from you, Belinda, is you go on to Instagram and do it on Instagram first. I don't have to double my work and put it on Facebook, whereas I was copying Facebook and putting it on Instagram. But Instagram automatically shares to Facebook, which I actually really quite like. So it saves you quite a bit of time. But yeah, so yeah, I love it. And you know, when I've done my morning walk post, I do that in the morning, and then something will come up, and I think, oh, I need to post it, but you can't. So if you can get it on your stories, just, you know, cooking with lemons at the moment, or I'm doing this, or I love that sunrise.
Yeah,
I'm finding it really good. I'm still learning Instagram, and I've got to learn to go to Instagram first before Facebook. Although I get a lot more viewers on the stories and a lot more messages from people saying, "Oh, I love that photograph." You know, "Oh, look at those horses," or whatever. And it really does. And yeah, and I tend not to scroll the feed anymore on Facebook. I might go through and do a few things, but I prefer to watch the stories. And when you watch the stories, you can just tap it and it goes along to the next one, and you hit the heart button. There you go. And it does give you that more condensed thing rather than the 3 posts a day, because you can't get to know someone on those 3 posts a day. But 50, I'm just loving it. I am, and you know, teaching an old dog new tricks. But Instagram, I stayed away from it, because I had a business account on there, and I just put nails up and salon stuff. But no, I'm getting in there.
That's so awesome. So awesome. So what Sharon's talking about is you can actually link your Instagram to your Facebook page. So when you post a story or even a picture to your feed on Instagram, it's going to automatically post it to your Facebook stories. Now, the reason I don't have my personal Facebook linked to my Instagram account is because I have a business Instagram account, so I can see insights. I can see where people have found me, what hashtags they use to find me, all those types of things. So my Instagram is actually linked to my business page on Facebook, not my personal page, which is why I have them automatically saved to my camera roll, and then I upload them to Facebook from there. But that literally takes 3 seconds for me to do, so that's totally fine. But thank you so much, Sharon, for those tips. I absolutely love them. Before we close off, we're 4 minutes over time, but after those awesome ladies have shared their best practices and what they love about stories, if anyone else has anything else they would like to comment or share or ask a quick question before we wrap up for tonight. You've got 10 seconds to make yourself known.
Well, one thing I do, you know how you have your memories come up on Facebook?
Yes.
You can also share them into your stories as well, which is kind of fun. You know, 1 year ago, this is what I was doing.
I love that. Yeah, I've seen you do that. I haven't yet. I haven't done that yet. And I believe you can do it on Instagram as well, but I haven't tried yet. So that's something I need to implement because I like throwbacks.
Must remember that, because half the time I look at a memory and think, oh, do I post my morning post or my memory?
Right. That, and
Yeah,
you know, it's
thank you, Ken.
interesting because your feed now, both on Facebook and on Instagram, what your main post is like your best post of the day. So the best thing you want to share with everyone that day goes on your main feed. Everything else is stories. So if you think about it that way, then it's like the post is the trailer and then the stories are your reality TV show. So awesome, guys. Well, I will pop this recording up so that you can either rewatch it or share it with your team for those people that weren't on here. But have an incredible, incredible week. I'm off to watch The Block. If you know me, you know that's
The Block.
that I watch TV.
Come on.
I don't watch TV, but that's the one show that I do watch.
It's a great show about ballroom dancing and kids. You should go and watch it with Summer. Fantastic.
I'm trying to convince James to go on The Block with me, but he won't because he says he knows he
involve the whole family.
He said,
Boring
Belinda, you know that I'm an idiot. I don't want everyone else to know that I'm an idiot.
Oh, you're not an idiot, Belle. Come on.
No, James was saying that about himself.
Oh, we all know he's an idiot.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He knows
Nice
what's on.
father-in-law.
We love being an idiot.
But he's our idiot.
You know, he's like a goofball, like, you know, my fourth child. It's like, I don't need all of Australia to know that. Like,
Hey, and I'll give you a tip: never go drinking with him because he
encourages you to
Anyway.
drink more.
That's another story.
That last night, but that's another story.
I remember something about Summit, but I won't say a word.
Okay.
Mate, what happens at Summit stays at Summit. You know that.
I love it.
Come on.
Awesome, guys. So as we wrap up, this week we have XM Plus 2 for 1. Buy 2 get 1 free this whole week for Australia and New Zealand. So buy 2 XM Plus get 1 free. That starts tomorrow and goes through till Friday. And then for the US, it is buy 2 Entune and get 1 for free. So think about who you know in the States for the CBD and who you know in Australia for the energy and the nutrition. And they're our deals this week. And that's it. All right. Have an awesome week. And I'll see you guys later.
Thank you. Bye. Night, guys.